What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Here we are for Geeks and Gamers Daily. Jeremy, not here. Instead, we made Gary get up at the crack of dawn to get ready. He's like, I'm not even going to turn the lights on in my office.
Nope.
I'm so damn tired. I'm just going to be here. But we have Gary from Nerdrotic.
I'm going to put about as much effort into this show as you did in my birthday greeting. There you go.
That's about right. That's about right. You know, one of the things I wasn't expecting to talk about today, we've obviously got Acolyte Meltdown. We've got some Marvel news that came out. But it seems like the talk of the town is drunk 3PO.
It's trending.
You know, if you we thought it was, you know, a very small chance he'd ever actually get to 100K. But then YouTube just goes and says, nah, fuck you, bro. Stomps on him and says, if you thought you had any shot, you're done, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Demonetized. Get fucked. So yes, I've already seen a lot of super chats about that, a lot of talk about that. From what I understand, from what Jay said on social media, it is one of those, hey, reuse content things, which does happen pretty often. We know a lot of people who have got that, and usually it actually does get sorted out fairly quickly. So here's hoping that that'll happen for him. YouTube's already replied to him and asked him to fill out the official thing. So we'll see where it goes from there. I don't think this is a I know a lot of people love conspiracies. A lot of people, you know, you do a conspiracy show, Gary.
I do. I love them.
But oftentimes it's YouTube's incompetence and, you know, things that happen behind the scenes that lead to these things. I'm not sure if Jay was on their hit list or not.
No, I don't think so. Of all channels, so. I think if you reuse content, you have to be very transformative, and they're very sensitive to it for some reason.
And I don't think that any of Jay's stuff would fall under like should be like demonetized for reuse content. That is just one thing over the past 2 years, I would say YouTube's become very aggressive about.
Yep.
Probably because there are so many people out there that are just clip channels or things like that, or literally will just steal someone's content and then maybe translate it for a different audience and things like that. It's probably one of the reasons they're a little bit more aggressive about it.
God, at least translating is transformative. You know what I mean? So there's not much you can do about it. But hopefully Jay gets everything worked out. Usually it, like Ryan says, usually it gets worked out.
Yeah, usually a day or two and everything will be fine. Everyone already got a lot of attention for it. YouTube responded to him, so we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm fairly confident everything will work out okay. Everything pretty much just always does work out okay for Jay. It's just how it works.
Yeah, it does. Except for hitting 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, with the exception of that.
But yeah, hey, he just he's the Forrest Gump of Geeks and Gamers. He just kind of falls into stuff and, you know, just kind of keeps running.
All of a sudden he's sitting there talking to Richard Nixon. You never know.
Yep.
You never know what might happen. But right off the bat, we got $100 super chat from Prometheus Creations. And for some reason it tried to erase it, but here it is. Probably my last super over on YouTube. I'm done with these pieces of shit. They have the audacity to demonetize Jay, yet further promote people like Mr. Beast, a known CIA fraud, and PDF file. I'm done. Rumble for the win for the fans. Well, thank you, Prometheus. Like I said, I do think that eventually that'll probably get worked out, but I appreciate the passion. Yeah. Taker for 5 saw some Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. Stormtroopers are based on Kenobi troopers, meaning they can be easily taken out by small women barehanded. Yeah, I think get their inspiration.
They get slapped. If you slap them right in the side of the helmet, yeah, they go right down.
Just done. Kim Jong Maza for 199. As Supreme Leader, I demand JB remonetized. Tango Thrax for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Tango Thrax. Lord Botha, I got Jay's birthday card from YouTube by mistake. It reads, roses are red, violets are blue. For your birthday, we demonetized you. Happy birthday, Junk 3PO. Rude. Hey, what are you going to do?
I know. I laugh because I know it's going to get worked out, but it's so messed up.
It is. And like that, like I would, bro, if that happened to me, I'd obviously be like freaking out, right? And worried. And I'm sure Jay's, I'm sure Jay is like not feeling great about it at the moment, but I also consider how many people we've seen this happen to. I'm pretty confident it's going to be turned around in a couple days. So.
Yeah. No, it's messed up, but yeah, it'll be fine.
We got demonetized on Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, you did.
A year ago or whatever. I forget when exactly that was, but again, that was a thing. I think in like 48 hours or something. It was just a mistake and got fixed. So it's unfortunate, but these things do happen.
It's not like getting your show canceled on your birthday. Oh, it's exactly like that.
Ooh, poor Manny Jacinto. Kymir, he was just so amazing. The thirst trap for the Acolyte. I was surprised that so many lesbians that made this show decided to make a male thirst trap, but you know,
well, that tells you about lesbians, doesn't it? A lot of it is lesbian until graduation. Okay.
Well, a lot of it is lesbian until I can find a man who actually wants to fuck me as well. You know,
yeah,
there's that out there. So still in their heads, they have a fantasy of a man who could actually do it for them. Most lesbians can probably be turned. That's my opinion. I don't know how many lesbians we got in the chat. Maybe they can let us know. But speaking of lesbians, we got to talk about one of them, the wife of the showrunner who decided to speak out about the cancellation of the Acolyte. First, I'll do this big one. Tomahawk for $50. So Master Gamer Gary, what do you think about Concord being the one game that has no Rule 34? I didn't think it was possible to learn this power.
I think not much of it, to be honest with you. I was going to come up with a clever answer, but it's too early. R34 is a refrigerant that you recharge your AC with. That's what I know about it.
But there's no fuckable women in it. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
But we have to talk about this nonsense. On Friday, we started seeing this push. After the Acolyte was canceled, the fans made their petition. The mainstream media tried to defend it. And then ultimately, this was like the big story, of course, from Rolling Stone of all places. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans before Star Wars can have another successful show? Some vocal parts of the fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise. And essentially, in typical Rolling Stone fashion, this is a hit piece on Star Wars fans, calling you racist, calling you bigots, saying these are the people, they're the reason that this show failed. They're the people that Disney's listening to. They're the reason that nobody watched this, because apparently a minority of fans is able to convince the corporation and every other fan what to do. It's very strange how that works. But we saw a lot of other things continue to repeat that. You know, Acolyte's cancellation speaks of how troubled the Star Wars brand is, blaming it once again on fans. Somebody decided to repost this. Rebecca Henderson. Now, you might not know that name because it's fairly irrelevant, but Rebecca Henderson is the actress who played Master Vernestra, or as Soul would say, or as Soul would say, Master Vernestra.
I feel a correction with you.
Exactly. She is one of the lead actresses in The Acolyte. She decided to post this, shitting all over fans. Also decided to post this tweet. The worst part about The Acolyte being canceled isn't the cancellation itself, but knowing exactly which part of the Star Wars fan base Disney listened to in order to go ahead with this decision. Stop caving to pressure and stand your ground if you've made something bold for once. Just for the record, this is Leslie Headland's wife.
Yeah, the showrunner's wife.
This is.
It is on Instagram, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay.
Over on Instagram.
Listen, it's not our fault that Disney and Lucasfilm packed up the U-Haul and broke up with Acolyte. Okay, it's not our fault. All right, quit blaming us. It was a bad relationship. It was pretty long considering your average lesbian relationship. It was about 8 weeks. Right?
Shit. Yeah, not bad. I mean, better than average, probably.
Yeah. In lesbian years, in lesbian months.
Yeah, in lesbian months, that they're doing that's like the diamond anniversary for them in lesbian years. But obviously, we know where Leslie Headland came from, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. Maybe that's what led her. It's just kind of general practice because of what she learned from Harvey to hire people you're sleeping with. So that's how Rebecca Henderson got this job in the first place. Certainly wasn't for incredible acting ability, at least not displayed in this series. But, I don't know if Leslie Headland actually has any social media that she's put stuff out on. I can't really find it, so I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that just because you're married to somebody that this is their statement, but this is now the wife of the showrunner, also an actress in the show, essentially saying that Star Wars fans are racists and bigots, and that's why this show got canceled. How fucking pathetic.
I know. They just never quit, and it never works. It never works. But that shows that what happens here is you have untalented people coming in, and they thought they could just coast like most, nepotism. Like most, you're not guest starring on a fucking soap. This is Star Wars. This is science fiction. It's got a lot of eyes on it. And they have no fucking idea what they're getting into most of the time. That's why you should usually vet these people and prepare these people for honoring the lore. Maybe read a book. Maybe it shouldn't even be suggested. How about, as a professional, I'm taking on something I know nothing about. I should probably read up on it a little bit. And when they get this kind of reaction, it's because they're coached by the marketing departments. And this is what they're told in these fucking little echo chambers at Lucasfilm, which is one of the worst places on the planet right now, and unfixable. And this, yes, of course, you're going to believe it when you're told in your echo chamber that these are all racist fans, except for the, nobody watched it. And the reason nobody watched it is because it betrayed everything about Star Wars. Yeah, they're absolutely lazy. Lucasfilm was lazy in the hiring. They were lazy in the writing, and it was lazy in the execution. And they just lean back on not even what they thought, what they want to be true, that they're going to find this modern audience, which doesn't exist.
Yeah, just a complete and total failure and cope from them. And the good side of the fandom, the nice people, the ones that are supposed to be the Acolyte fans, this is how they've kind of reacted to this.
So nice.
I'm so sick of Star Wars fans. You all will die and go to hell. Acolyte canceled because of racist fucking misogynist jerks. I'm gonna kill all the men on this fucking planet. Racist Star Wars fans all gotta die, man. Like, no other way around it. Star Wars, at Star Wars, fun fact, I'll kill you if you don't retract the news about the Acolyte. You gave it 1 fucking month.
Fuck you, Disney Plus.
It's so funny, man. Fuck you for canceling the Acolyte. You let the racist and sexist dude bros win and let a beautiful, inclusive show die? Yeah. Fuck y'all for real.
Burn the witch.
It's been insane. It's been absolutely insane. And, update on the petition. It's over 44,000 signatures. Congratulations. Wow. My prediction was, it's going to get tens of thousands. I don't know if they can get all the way up to 100,000. I think that might be high for the amount of people that are engaged with the Acolyte as fans. But even if it does get to 100,000, that's not enough to change anything about what the reality is. And the reality is, all the people that are signing this petition, you're the ones that watched. Okay, great. But not enough people watched to make it a successful show.
Yep.
It's not about them appealing to us or to YouTubers, or YouTubers are the ones that did this. Trust me, if that's what they were doing, we wouldn't have got the last 10 years of Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
They tried to appeal to you. This is what they've been doing for the better part of over a decade. Kathleen Kennedy said, we don't need those older fans anymore. We want a new generation. We want new demographics of people to get interested in Star Wars. We need to expand the fan base. Well, what they really meant by that was contract the fan base by pushing out everyone else and targeting these people. This was targeted towards you. And to your credit, freaks and weirdos, pronouns and bios, I think you showed up. I think you did your job.
Yes.
The unfortunate reality is now crashing down. Just like a man cannot miraculously snap their fingers and become a woman, that your group of fans that you thought was so big and powerful, it's actually very small, insignificant, doesn't matter, and cannot make a show successful.
And that comes from that interview. Okay, so Kathleen Kennedy wanting to move on from the 50-year-olds comes from the interview of the guy who worked on Galaxy's Edge. I'll never forget that. And what stuck out with me, which you should always remember, loyal Star Wars fans, is they just assume you're going to be around. Did you hear that? Like, oh, we want to expand the fan base. So you suckers are going to sit around and just lap all this stuff up while we expand the fan base. And instead, what Ryan said, it contracted. Little shrinkage. A lot of assumption, a lot of taking the paying customer for granted. And then when they spoke up, they attacked you. It's going to war with your fandom, going to war with the customer never works. Again, like we can just keep saying this. And that's what's been different about this era that we have been covering is a studio would not go to war with their paying customer before. They will now to protect corporation because this is the drawback of a studio not being solely a studio being a subsidiary of a giant company that does something else, which that's what Disney is. Disney makes movies and stuff, but they're a parks and experience and hotel company. And that's what they are now. That also happens to make shows. Same with Amazon, same with Apple. So they can ignore that to their peril, but they can ignore it. Now, what they won't remember is this will hurt their legacy, and over time they will have diminishing returns. It'll be slow. Disney World is just like this automatic destination for a lot of normie families and stuff. Whatever. I would say pay a little more attention. Go to Universal. Not that they're a golden company. They own MSNBC, but they don't like attack their fans. Like I would just go somewhere where you don't attack fans, and we'll see where it goes. But Disney is a damaged brand at this point, despite having a couple of wins this summer. Sure has that stop.
They're going to end up with the 2 biggest movies of the year,
by far. And
it's done really not too much to convince people that like the company's worth investing in. Yeah. You know, like that's the reality. From back in February or whatever, when they had the big shareholders meeting, when the vote for the board happened, and obviously, I forget it. Ike Perlmutter and Nelson Peltz made the bid to get him on the board. Didn't work out. The stock has only gone down and down and down because of all the lies they told and the gaslighting they did to pretend like everything's just perfectly fine the way it is. Well, now here you are a couple months removed from that, and your stock has decreased 33%. You're thinking, what the fuck? I voted to keep these guys in, and they're doing the same thing to us over and over and over again.
And low information shareholders, man. They keep this train running. And I saw a great meme for Skeleton Crew. It showed Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, and it says Skeleton Crew over it. I was like,
oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Pretty good. But that's what's coming up.
And the Skeleton Crew thing, I don't really think I'm going to pay too much attention to that because, quite frankly, that is like
a little kid
like
show.
The Ewok movie. It is truly geared towards very young audiences. I'm not going to spend my days sitting there ripping that thing to shreds.
No, now I was the same way with Miss Marvel. I was just like, this is for little like 14-year-old girls.
Yeah, exactly. So I got better things to do than that. But now, if they do try to do some weird thing or some weird identity politics, weird gender thing, and they try to introduce it in there, certainly if there's a headline like that, I'll talk about that because shouldn't be putting that in front of kids. But if it's just like a dumb, goofy show, I don't really care that much. Yeah. Not that children's content can't be amazing and awesome as well, but that's not where I'm going to sit there and boom, this is the worst thing that ever happened in Star Wars. I'm not going to do that for that show. No. There might be some people out there that do. Probably not going to be me. Chris Karan, Jace channel's under attack, keeping him from 100K. As Epic Mike would say, it's a damn conspiracy, motherfuckers. It's a conspiracy. Shadow saying, who would have thought EFAP would get Keemstar to join their anniversary stream and talk about none other than Boogie? Did that happen? I heard around the same time, but I didn't get to watch the whole 24 hours. I do apologize.
Yeah, I heard him bring it up, but I thought it was like in a video. Like he actually showed up. That's cool.
Nice. Yeah, me and Gary were both on there yesterday morning to talk about, what did we talk about?
House of the Dragon.
And I think before you got there, did a Star Wars thing too. Yes, that was fun. Shout out to 6 years, 300 shows. It's a long time. Gary. Maybe that means Gary and Ryan. Maybe that's what that means. I don't know. Maybe just chanting your name. Tobias, don't trust YouTube. YouTube is asshole. Thanks, Tobias. Oh shit, upgraded Jeremy ++. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't wear Crocs.
Thank God. Wolf from Heart, RKO, glad you alive. # rescue Dave Filoni. He's like, yeah, I had to stop my stream after like 30 or 40. I had probably one of the worst headaches I've ever had in my fucking life.
Really?
Yes, and honestly, I think some of it may have just been lack of sleep and probably didn't drink enough water. I've been like the past week, I've been going pretty fucking hard and not sleeping very much. So not like going hard like partying, going hard like I had a lot of things to do.
Yep.
So that may have been it. My 4th stream of the day. It finally caught up.
Dehydrates you.
I'm getting old, you know. A lot of people said this is it. Ryan's just having a stroke and he's dying.
That's probably it.
Could be true as well. I'll call Chris Gore and he'll slur me through what I'm supposed to do about this.
Yeah.
Golden Nuggets for 5. Maybe for the next Black Panther, they can cast famous African actor Ida Pupu. They can try. Marcus Wolczyk for 5. Hello, the 199. Happy to see father and son together on stream.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Marcus. Nick Hammerschmidt for 5. Why does it look like Gary's going to interrogate me in his room? It's pretty dark.
It is pretty dark. I got my torches going, though.
Your torches? Oh, there you go.
I don't want to, like, it's too early for all that freaking light to be, like, shining in my face. Like, it annoys the hell out of me. If I could get rid of studio lights completely, I would. I hate them.
I still have not figured out like lighting. I've been doing YouTube for 5 years and I cannot figure it out for me to like not look blown out, but to actually be well lit. I'm just giving up at this point.
3-point lighting. So you have 2 lights in front of you and you need it. And I don't have a key light. I kind of do, but you have to have a key light behind you, usually on the floor, right at the back of your head. And that balances it out.
I got one here, and then I've got one that's like up there. But when I turn it on, like I just feel like it's too much. So I don't know.
It also depends on the camera too.
So. Oh yeah, Logitech Brio.
Well, you're always going to look blown out on that. There's nothing you can do about it.
Jason Yankovic for 5. Reused content. Did Jay trip another mascot? Maybe he did. Maybe they're like, hey, you just keep putting out Snow White and Acolyte videos. Sorry, buddy. So, I don't know. Maddening for 10. Good to see you, Gary. Have a great week, gentlemen. Hashtag Free J. Yes, we'll all be on Free J watch. That fucking, like the thing on the side of Twitter that sometimes shows you what people are talking about.
Yeah.
Not like real trending, but some like what people.
It's like a beta version of, yeah.
One of them was JD3PO gets demonetized on there for me.
Yeah, for me too. I sent it to him. I'm like, hey, look at
everyone who cares, Jay.
Gina Carano tweets it. Probably helpful. Helpful.
True. What would happen? What would be the reaction if I got demonetized? That's what I want to know.
Oh, dude, there'd be a party.
I think there would be more. I think there would be a little bit higher rate of celebration to outrage. But you never know. Maybe it'll happen.
Bigot finally got it. He's gone.
Well, remember what happened when Geeks and Gamers got demonetized for a heartbeat. They were fucking cheering. They thought that finally everything that they'd been doing it meant something, and it didn't. It was just a mistake. Just like this one is for Jay. Elite Neo for 50. Gary, where the hell were you last week when Extra Girl was streaming Diablo? If your warrior had been there to tank, her sorcerer wouldn't have gotten murked by the butcher, although she did defeat King Leoric at her first go. Holy bolt spam for the win.
I gotta let her go for a little while before the master comes in. You gotta let the apprentice, learn, go out there. It's like raising a kid. You just let them out in the wild and see how they do for a little while. Is that not how you do it?
Well, and you also have to make sure they are actually suffering, right? You need to make sure that they suffer. You need to make sure that they understand how difficult it is so that when you come in, they're really impressed, right? They're like, holy shit, he's really good.
Yeah. So they understand the skills, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was something else that came out yesterday, Gary. We already had some idea of this, but now it looks like we got some more specifics regarding Robert Downey Jr.'s return to the MCU. Obviously, the big reveal, Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom, in the next big Avengers movies. And a lot of hype surrounded it, but also a lot of people questioning whether that is quite the right thing to do, whether I want to see Robert Downey Jr., their most iconic hero, play one of the most iconic villains. But it is happening, and he's going to get paid big time. Robert Downey Jr. will reportedly be paid $100 million.
Oh, it's going up.
Like Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. He says Kevin Feige approached him the role about a year ago.
Yep.
I looked into the character and went, wow. Now, I think he looked at $100 million and also went, wow.
Yeah, he misspelled paycheck. So I looked at the paycheck and went, wow. Yeah, dude.
A lot of money. Now it is for 2 movies. Now it also says it could be up to double that if they hit some box office incentives. So potentially 200 million to appear in these 2 movies. Now I am fully in the camp of, you know what? If like the market is the market. Same with baseball players and, football players and things like this, where a guy, he might be the 8th best quarterback in the league, but because of quarterback contracts and the way they're set up, he ends up getting $53 million a year. And it's like, hey, that's what people are willing to pay. There is no one other than Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU. He is the star of the MCU. And if these movies pay off, they're going to be glad whatever they paid him to actually get him back. But the question is it going to pay off?
That's the question. It's a big risk. And I was told that this decision freaked Kevin Feige out a little bit, but that was his motivation to do it. And yes, it did happen a year ago. They went to some great lengths to have this private meeting. I've mentioned him on another stream. I don't know if I should here, but they went to some great lengths to make this private away from their own people. So just Feige and RDJ could meet and talk about
this. Wasn't, hey, come down to my office and let's have a discussion. Yeah. This was, hey, we're going to get this house and we're not going to tell anybody we're doing this. So let's just have a discussion about this stuff.
It was very clandestine. I can say it. And yeah, he said yes when because Kevin Feige, the meeting was just adding zeros and then waiting for RDJ to nod. And he nodded at, I guess, 100 million. He's absolutely worth it. Like, Ryan, I'm all for this. Like, get that money, because this is RDJ is off a Academy Award win. So he's got a little momentum, but he also means everything to the MCU, and they can't bring Tony back, which they should, by the way, but they should recast him. That's a story for another day. So to all the little, and I'm talking about content creators out there, not you lovely people in the chat or even fans who may disagree with me, all you little fucking twats out there who were saying Marvel is successful. You have been just lying about the box office numbers when they don't even know the basics of the box office numbers, like how much the studios actually make from foreign ticket sales or from domestic ticket sales. It's not 100%, you fucking idiots. So I just want to point out that if the MCU was healthy, would they be paying Robert Downey Jr. $100 million to come back? No, they are fucking desperate. They needed a change and they have an opportunity to do it. They have a fellow subsidiary right there in-house called Lucasfilm, and they're watching them trip all over themselves. And by the way, no love between Lucasfilm and Marvel. There's no love. They don't like each other at all. They were friendly at one time. Now they're not. That's a story for another day. But it's a good one too. Yeah, they see all this fucking up going on, and they're like, well, we are the biggest franchise in Hollywood right now that still has some life. There's a heartbeat in there. It's fading, but there's a heartbeat in there, and we need to turn it around now. And they need to do the quickest thing possible, stop the bleeding. And they do that by, hey, we got to release some of the shit. Not as much as DC, but we got to release some of the shit that we got to release. And then we're going to try to, this will, by the way, they will be engineering a soft reboot. Now that's just purely my speculation, but that's where they're headed with Secret Wars. They're engineering a soft reboot, and they'll probably bring back Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, the real one, the Steve Rogers one, probably recast at some point. That's the only way it's going to work. You can't, if they felt,
it kind of makes sense going forward.
Yeah.
Period.
If they felt strongly about America Chavez and the Scarlet Scarab and the Kate Bishop and the Taskmasters, they wouldn't have done this. They would have gone full steam ahead with what they're doing. Now, I know there's rumors out there. Somebody sent it to me. There's a direct article that mentions Robert Meyer Burnett, Ryan, that Robert Meyer Burnett heard that Agatha is good. I'll correct that a little bit. Marvel thinks, because I'm pretty sure I know who you talk to, but Marvel thinks Agatha is good. Okay, they're very proud of it, but Marvel thought that about a lot of stuff. Okay, so I would just prepare yourself.
It
Because I've
also
talked to
kind of
somebody
just
who said
depends on who
Lizzie
you
good.
talk to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It depends on who you talk to at Marvel, whether they think something is good or bad.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
what we like? I'm sure there was some people when they were talked to about Echo that they thought it was just amazing and stunning and brave, and other people, including all the higher ups, who decided to release it all at once. They clearly knew this is a shit show.
Oh, I heard from somebody that Doctor Strange was an absolute banger. This is going to be great. So I was like, all right, let's go. And then it wasn't. So, and that came from within Marvel. So yeah, we'll see if Agatha's really good. I'm sure like wine aunts out there will love it. But like back to RDJ, like he absolutely earned he's already earned this 100 million with being part of Kevin Feige just went out in Hall H and said how much like the MCU has earned or has generated $32 billion just in the films.
Yeah. Doesn't mean that that's profit.
It's not profit.
That is obviously the most lucrative film franchise we've ever seen in history by a long shot. What I think is very interesting about this is he says Kevin Feige approached him about a role about a year ago. Now, if I go back in my head and think about what was happening about a year ago, that's right. Jonathan Majors was on trial.
Yep.
Jonathan Majors was on trial after the incident that occurred, and then I think he was found guilty at the beginning of December. That's what about a year ago is. So that may have been one of the things that pushed this to happen the way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I have zero issues with Robert Downey Jr. getting paid $100 million. You do have to make sure that you make that back. But you look at some of the insane paydays that people like say Tom Cruise have gotten. Now, Tom Cruise got insane payday from Top Gun Maverick primarily because of the back end box office stuff, and went on to make $1.5 billion. And so he ended up making over 100 mil from just that movie alone. I do think there's a little difference from the upfront pay guarantee of 100 million versus doing that after it hits a bunch of incentives. But still, money is money. And we'll see. I have no like sincere belief that this is just going to be fantastic and incredible. And I think in some ways, they've made itself a little bit more difficult for themselves by including a guy like Robert Downey Jr. to have him play this villain. But the one thing that they desperately needed was for people to care about the future of the MCU.
Yes.
And they did achieve that to some point just with this announcement. So
they did. But with no concern of legacy. This which it's obvious that they're not even thinking about it. They are so worried about the next few quarters that was their only concern, and they'll worry about it later, which is really not how you run. It's not how you create art and popular entertainment, serialized entertainment. They went off the path, and it's not going to be that easy to get back on. We'll see. I hope it's great. I hope it's fucking fantastic, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. There's also this report about Spider-Man 4. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see this one.
There's a new rumor out there, and even back in January or February or something, there were some reports that Spider-Man 4, the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, that even though with the setup, it clearly felt like we were finally going to get the MCU Spider-Man doing things that we all thought Spider-Man should probably have been doing anyway. A true like standalone Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
Street level, getting back to basics that made so many people kind of fall in love with this character to begin with versus the MCU version that we've ended up getting. And I frankly, after Spider-Man No Way Home, yeah, of course I liked seeing the return of this and what Andrew Garfield did, what Tobey Maguire did. I really like that. To me, the thing I found most surprising walking out of No Way Home is that I cared about what might happen in the next Spider-Man movie for the first time in the MCU.
Yep.
It sounded like Sony wanted to turn it into another big multiverse movie because, hey, they want a big payday out of that. They think that would be a bigger payday than a standalone, more grounded version. There's a report out there that it sounds like Sony may have won, and Spider-Man 4 will now be turned into a big multiversal movie once again. And I think that is a mistake. I think that is continuing to learn the wrong lessons from some of these big box office hits like a Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's just a report that's out there, and maybe we won't know for sure till it goes into production. But I think that's a really big mistake for them to do, especially with all the other multiversal stuff that they have going on.
I think it's a massive mistake. I think if they wanted to make more money, that make a Toby, just go out and do Spider-Man 4, do a swan song, give Raimi, get Raimi and Toby together and do it, and that'll make tons of money, at least on opening weekend, right? Yeah, this is a horrible idea, and it's also an admission that with the most popular superhero in the world, that you feel the need to bring in other characters and other Spider-Man, and like a Spider-Man should absolutely be able to stand on its own, make $1 billion. And I think it would if you kept it in Queens and you had them, saving cats, show them saving people. That's what heroes do once in a while. And, pick a villain. Can't pick Kraven, unfortunately, which would have been a great villain for just a standalone story. Or bring in Kingpin. Fine. Try to rebuild Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin if you can do that crossover. I still haven't, it's been so confusing what the rights are between the partnership between Sony and Disney at this point. I guess it's still going, but I was told that last one was it. That was it. They get to share one more character and that's it. So I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, we can't just get a Spider-Man movie, which pretty simple.
I think that would have been it if any of these Sony Spider-Man universe that they've been making, Morbius, Madam Web, if any of those things had actually done well and taken off in a similar fashion the way Venom did, I think that Sony would really be looking at just taking that character back and doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. But since they haven't, I feel like they're probably going to be more than willing to continue this partnership with the MCU.
It's been pretty lucrative.
It's been very lucrative for them. They're able to essentially bounce off, the massive marketing machine that Disney is, connections to all these different characters and stuff like that. And they just sit there and reap all the benefits. And for any criticisms, it's the MCU that gets hit with any of the criticisms for the movies. So for them, I think it's pretty good. It's worked out very well for Sony. It's been able to pay for all these catastrophes they've had.
Yeah. And you're right, chat. They're going to work their way. They're working their way towards a Miles Morales movie. Absolutely. That's probably going to be part of it. By the way, the third Miles Morales movie delayed pretty much indefinitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, apparently from what we heard, the making of the second Spider-Verse movie was just completely chaotic. And they really weren't sure what they were going to do. And that's kind of one of the reasons it ended the way it did. And they were under the impression that they would almost be making these things back to back. That didn't happen. And now who knows when you're actually going to get a finishing to that. I didn't watch the Spider-Verse 2. I fell asleep during it. I tried to watch it and I just passed the fuck out. So I don't even have a judgment about the movie because I fell asleep.
Terrible ending.
Yeah. But the ending for me was when everyone started moving and getting up to go. And I was like, oh,
and
fuck.
It gets really busy. It does. The animation's cool. It's very slick. It's very cool. But sounds great on Atmos system. But yeah. They diluted Spider-Man. They did this in the comics first. They diluted Spider-Man, the singular most special superhero of all time. And now they're just, the studios are making the same mistakes as the comics. Big surprise.
Sad. McCawk for $50. Ryan, do you think they'll ever re-release the older Pokemon games for sale, like Fired, or do you think they'll ever go to subscription service? I don't see us ever getting the GBA games again. What are your top 3 Pokemon movies? My top 3 movies? Definitely definitely the first one and the second one. Like my favorite 2. Mewtwo and the Lugia one. I think those are the first 2. I don't know. I like the other ones all fucking kind of run together for me. So I don't really have an answer for you on what my third favorite one is. Do I think there'll ever be some way to buy those? Nintendo's always a little bit weird about that shit, but I think eventually, somehow, probably, just because there are still people that have such an attachment to those old games. But I don't know. I'm not a big Nintendo guy. Like Pokemon is like the only thing that I consistently buy that's Nintendo. So in terms of what they are willing to do and what Nintendo's willing to do. I don't fucking know. I was told we need to react to this though, Gary. I actually saw you tweet about this.
Oh.
Told we need to react to this. Superman.
Oh yeah.
Reeve story.
Yeah, this stupid Warner Brothers, you're gonna get hit for this.
We'll see. We'll see how much music is in this thing, I suppose.
Well, we got hit for Rohirrim. I'm fighting it right now. Using your letter.
It's not. It didn't get blocked or anything, right? Just got claimed.
Just got claimed. Yeah.
All right, fuck it then. Here we go.
Everybody's looking for a hero. I am not a hero. That was a part. I played the part. I'm not that man.
Just the music, dude. God, so good.
So good.
Hands down, he was Superman from day one.
I realized that if I could pull off this part, it would change my life.
John Houseman said, Mr. Reeve, it is very important to become a serious classical actor. Unless, of course, they offer you a load of money to do something else.
I love the old logos back, dude. This is James Gunn's single best contribution was bringing this back. And you know why it went away? Well, there was another version that went away because it was too close to the DC clothing or company back in the day.
Yeah.
So bringing this back rules. Okay, this is the DC logo, and they should never have gone away from that.
I do like it. It's iconic. I also like Christopher Reeve saying exactly what any actor would probably do. Yep. We just got done talking about Robert Downey Jr. taking $100 million fresh off of winning an Oscar.
Yep.
He convinced me when I first met him that he would fly.
Doing things like that. It was all about activity and action. Riding bikes, playing soccer, skiing.
Carpe diem, my dad was very competitive and he didn't necessarily slow down.
We said goodbye and he gave this wave. That was the last time I saw him on his feet.
Brutal.
Oh, that's rough.
That accident's on video too.
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah. I'll never forget when it happened, man. It's one of those, where you were moments of all things was that I was driving around delivering auto parts and listening to freaking Howard Stern of all people. And when it got announced and we thought he was dead. Everybody thought he was dead.
Mr. Reeve currently has no movement or spontaneous respiration.
Superman, crazy. Just that simple little thing over the horse.
I'd ruin my life and everybody else's. I won't be able to ski, sail, throw a ball to Will. Won't be able to make love to Dana. Maybe we should let me go.
She came flying in and she just yelled, "I love you. I love you."
And then she said the words that saved my life. You're still you, and I love you.
He and Robin were such good friends because they could match each other.
Robin also had struggles.
That is, I had not watched this before. I had just seen a couple people tweet about it. I hadn't watched the actual trailer. I didn't realize how much they were going to go into, into that type of stuff right off the bat with the families. But that is pretty powerful stuff here from them.
Yeah.
That he dealt with his whole life, and I think that they both were aware of darkness.
Brother Chris is fighting like crazy. When you find people who fight like that but still keep their humanity, that gives you great hope.
That is tough because I can feel him, but he can't feel me.
It must have been hell for my mom, too, knowing what she had lost.
I felt I needed to do something, not just for myself, but for everyone else in the same condition.
The fact that Superman was in a wheelchair and was willing to go public with it was huge.
Help is on the way.
The Christopher and Dana Reeve Paralysis Act.
People are literally walking because of him.
what is a hero? My answer was that a hero is someone who commits a courageous action without considering the consequences. Now my definition is completely different. I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles.
Back.
I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
Oh, that looks good.
That looks really good.
First official thing from DC Studios, by the way.
That looks really good. That's fucking really Superman right there, dude.
Yep. Yep.
Everyone in the chat's crying right now. Hey, we made it through. Why couldn't you, chat?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're heartless, jaded. I'm old, so I have an excuse. You're way too young to be this jaded, but
yeah, that's right.
There you go. But no, that
you wouldn't cry on stream, okay? Wouldn't happen.
No, dude. Yeah. Like when your dad dies. Pretty sad when my dog died. I think it's inspirational. So if it's an inspirational cry, you go right ahead. Because I think that's really inspirational. I can't wait to see it. I'll be there opening day.
Obviously, that is like very touching and emotionally moving, especially hearing from the kids and everything like that in there about that experience. And he's Superman to us, but for every child, your father is Superman.
Yep.
And just to see that happen to your dad, let alone all the bigger stuff that's happening, it's rough.
And even though he was like in that one role, and that's pretty much what he was known for, he could act for one. Somewhere in Time, go watch that movie. It's a great fucking movie he's in. But he was beloved. Like, people loved Christopher Reeve. There's anything you ever heard bad about that guy. He was a pretty popular guy, pretty nice guy, family man. Need more actors like him.
Yeah.
Was in Smallville. I loved his stuff in Smallville. Yeah. And it was so sad that Dana died not too long after him. Yeah. Brutal for the kids.
B. Barrett for $2 over on Rumble. The Acolyte was canceled after one season. RK Outpost was canceled after one news story. That's right. John Getz for $5. Ryan, good to see your head didn't explode yesterday. Also, I can now bother Gary with more game recommendations. Make sure, I'm sure you'll both be on Outlaws day one. With how peak fire that game looks, bros. Gary told me he's really excited for Star Wars Outlaws. After he gets in Concord.
I just hooked up my PS5. Can I play him on those?
Yeah.
I was looking at PS5 just for discs for games. There's fucking nothing, dude. It's like the same 12 games you see over and over again. I was on Amazon, so I was like, damn.
There's a lot. Like, in terms of just PS5 exclusives, that's been one of the criticisms of the PS5. But at the same time, the PS5 is actually, I think, out-tracking the PS4 at this time in the launch cycle, which is just kind of crazy in general. But...
Well, I have Hogwarts Legacy on PS5. I have RoboCop, Evil Dead, the game, which is the one I'm going to play. And, Ghostbusters Remastered for PS5. Yeah.
There you go.
That's it. I got a lot of games.
That's so many, Gary. You got tons.
I have Red Dead Redemption PS4, which I'll play on it. So.
You know what's funny? That Concord game that's coming out and flopping on Steam, that Gollum game actually had more players than Concord. Yeah, I think because it had over 700. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Mark of Reality for $5. Razorfist seems to have a good point about Black Myth Wukong. It's put out by a communist corporation, and it's probably funding a lot of DEI corporations. Hey, all I know about the game is it's good. That's all I know about it.
Commies made a good game.
Yeah. John Getz for $5. Yes, Agatha, otherwise known as the worst birthday present I'll ever get. None of that month or week crap either. It's literally the same day. At least we get Tulsa King to drown her out.
Yes.
You're really excited about Tulsa King.
I am very excited. You haven't seen it yet, but it's a damn good show. So in 2 years, when you watch it, you'll go, dude, that was pretty good.
I'm halfway through season 1 of Rings of Power, getting ready for season 2.
Oh, everybody's jumping ahead of me. I haven't started. I'm waiting till the last minute to rewatch that.
Well, because it's Wednesday, right? That in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to go on Wednesday. So Fuck, there ain't no way I'm doing that whole thing in a day.
I'm gonna do a rewatch, but like it's pretty seared in my head. Like I watched each episode 3 or 4 times to edit because I did a live stream and a video, so I had to watch. Like it's pretty seared in my head.
I had a really hard time remembering what happened when. Although, listen, I will say Bronwyn's fucking tits are out from like the very beginning. At least tits out for like in the Tolkien world.
No, she's hot. She is
Yeah.
legit hot. She was in Counterpart too, by the way. Good show. Only 2 seasons.
Golden Nuggets for 5. Be gentle with Ryan, Gary. He's been feeling unwell with the Mpox.
I'm always gentle with Ryan.
Cole Hauser for 5. Hey, Ryan and Gary. Ryan, hope you're feeling better from the rigaitis. Gary, here into this 24 reboot. What do you think? 199 praise Al Ra. Go Jay. I've heard very little about it.
Is it with is it new people? Is it the same creative team?
Let's see.
I would say even with that, no.
I just don't know where. I heard there's a 24 movie in the works.
That would make more sense. Like do like they did with the Rockford Files. Like just make TV movies.
Yeah.
You know? And bring back why I just blanked on his name. Kiefer Sutherland.
Listen, Kiefer Sutherland's Jack Bauer is still one of the most iconic and awesome and badass characters we've ever seen on TV.
Yep.
And when that came out, it was very cool and unique. The idea that it is actually a 24-hour day and everything is happening in real time, and you have a ticking clock that goes by. Obviously, every episode's an hour. But it's legit. If they're fucking 15 minutes away from the White House and they get on a helicopter and they go, 15 minutes later, they'll show up to land on the front lawn and have the conversation while all this other shit is happening. Some seasons are better than others, but for the most part, that show, first 5-6 seasons, is fucking badass, dude.
Bangers. And it had really good people working on it. The only problem is the way there's no commercials now to count down to do before it goes to commercial.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, every commercial break, it would have the ticking clock. And it was a thing I would always do, too. I would always try to guess what the number would be when it came back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck, so stupid. We used to watch TV like that with commercials and shit. What the fuck? The Super Bowl, the year after 24 came out and Fox had the Super Bowl, they did a 24 themed kind of introduction to what had happened at the last. Oh, dude, it was sick. It was
brilliant.
Awesome. Stigma. Should Henry Cavill be the new Wolverine officially? Also, I enjoyed Tatum's Gambit. Fight me. Obviously he was going super fucking over the top for that character for Gambit, like not being able to understand what he said, all that shit. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool for Channing Tatum. I think that Henry Cavill would make a great Wolverine.
Yep.
But I don't know. Gary, I know you have a hard out in a minute or two because you gotta do your own stream here in a little bit.
On the Rumble, on the Bumble Rumble.
On the Bumble Rumble. So I will finish up with some super chats and stuff here, and we'll let you go. What are you up to this week for anybody that might not know what your million sub channel's up to?
Preparing for Rings of Power. Reading
a lot of lube.
Parts of the Silmarillion, reading Lord of the Rings all the way through again, and then watching Rings of Power, which I've been putting off. I accidentally keep going over to The Hobbit and the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and just watching them. So yeah, I don't know if I'm actually going to rewatch it. I'm glad everybody else is, but like I said, that shit seared in my brain. Yeah, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to go see it today. So I'm on the Real BBC tomorrow. Oh, Chris, you're no nooner on Wednesday. I got some stuff to do. So no nooner on Wednesday. Chris, you have the day off. I know he's in the chat.
There you go. That's how we got the news.
That's how I got the news.
I've never heard this before. You're telling me for the first time.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Gary. I appreciate it on short notice. So thanks.
Hail the 199. Thanks, Ryan. Jeremy's gay.
That's right. Damn straight. All right, guys. We will get through the rest of these here. You fucked that for 199. 98% super chat. Read 2% on topic. I don't think so on this stream. I think we actually talked about some stuff for a while. Joey Fouts. Well, who knows how long we'll go, I guess. Joey Fouts for 2. Jeremy flaking on FNT and G&G daily. Yeah, apparently. Rooster Cogburn. Damn, not even lesbians can keep their wives quiet. Got to tell them twice. Chris Coran for 2. I signed the petition under Gary's name for him. Don't fucking do that. Jesus. Thoughts on Narrow Body with Nigel. Poor old Jay rooting for him. 1K or 100K. Top man. Rob Cortez for 199. Morning from Costa Mesa, California. Hey, what's up? Good morning. Gatekeeper for 10. Hey, Ryan and my favorite Gary. Love you, man. Hoping to meet you guys next year, Lord willing. Wish you all continued success and good health. Hail and blessings to the princess of the 199, Epic Mike's daughter. Oh, okay. I had no idea who that was. The princess of the 199. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat, Gatekeeper. And Knockmaman, reviews and rants for 10. Some people are surprised Rolling Stone magazine has fallen so far. My response, they gave 1 star to every Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath album back in the 70s. They've always been filth. As long as I've, been talking about entertainment, Rolling Stone's but had some really fucking whack shit. JT for 5. G&G Nerdrotic and Company should all encourage their audiences to sign the Acolyte petition. Think of the content. That is one way to think about it. It would give me a lot of content going forward. Tobias next for 5. Even we furs aren't this bad. Have some fucking dignity. Acolyte fans really think harsh words are going to change what the money says. They do. Eggy Orphan for 5. You guys seen the Superman Christopher Reeve trailer? We did now. And it's Christopher Reeve, not Reeves. But thank you. We did watch it. What's it going to take to get you into Berserk, Ryan, says Cactus. I don't know. An accident like Christopher Reeve where I'm just sitting up in the hospital all day, probably. Days. I just have too much stuff going on. I can't even read stuff that I'm like really super into, to be honest. So, Days of Darkness for 5. Maybe a weekend stay at the Galactic Star Cruiser will help him forget. Wait, that's canceled too. It is. Jocelyn, Ryan, you feeling better now? I am feeling better, Jocelyn. I had the worst splitting headache imaginable yesterday. But I'm feeling okay now. Sergio Garcia for 2, but Jeremy plus can get dubs on Fortnite. Probably. It's supposed to be Jerry, but Gary works too. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gary. Yeah. Stephen DeLeon. We were somewhere around Barstool on the edge of the desert when the drugs began to take hold. Thank you, Stephen. Used to own D-Stock back in the 80s from grandparents. Did well over the years. Had to recently sell DEI Disney to pay for groceries and gas. Renew the Acolytes, so we're going to buy it cheap later. Disney will break up soon. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know people have speculated that for a long time, especially potential partnerships with Apple and stuff. And I don't know if I see that in the future, but maybe. Health Minister of Belgium for 199. Gary, let me know if you need a health minister. Inakmaman, Rolling Stone also in charge of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They put the Bee Gees and Public Enemy, despite not being rock bands, in, but took petition to get Alice Cooper, Rush, and Kiss in. I hate Rolling Stone. Hey, don't bash the Bee Gees, bro. But I hear what you're saying, though. Singing Tigs for 2. No Garamy. G&G is a little less figgy today. Hail! We had a good stream. Ministry of Wrong Think. It's so obvious Ledlin's interviews were all gaslighting. She literally said she wasn't going to leave people hanging, but now the shills are screaming about it ending on a cliffhanger. Yes. Golden Nuggets. Gary, do a membership stream again. It's been ages, and I'm finally well enough after missing London meetup. If too busy, it's cool, bro. Thank you, Golden Nuggets. And I'm glad you're feeling better. Zitty Protocol for 2. Yippee, I'm highlighted. Again. Ministry of Wrong Thing for 5. Ryan, by the way, what's the best place to drop memes for G&G if we got them? On Twitter, I think listen, I'm not going to pretend like I spent a lot of time in the Geeks Gamers Discord. I spent almost no time on Discord, period. But I think there's a bunch of people that share memes and stuff on the G&G Discord. Try there. I don't know. Eric Stratton for 777. Universal Hollywood have 3 retro nights. Back to the Future, Dungeons and Dragons, Star Trek, BTTF might be held in their back lot. Hey. That sounds fun, Eric. Cactus for 2. Gary, will Sylvester Stallone ever return to FNT? X-Rays booking the guest. Gohan creates 1 more super chat. Spider-Man 4 have Toby come back as Spider-Man. Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat, but the iconic outfit. And villain Spider Carnage like that TV show finale. Well, thank you, Gohan creates Prometheus Creation. I'd be down to see a one last hurrah for Toby. Chris Grogu for 5. Hey guys, awesome content as always. Can't wait for Universal to build their new theme park in Bedfordshire, UK, as I live only 5 miles from the site. I didn't even know that was happening. I'm not the biggest theme park guy, though. That sounds cool. Gary's Beer Dingleberries for 5. Hey, Gary, you recommended, I asked my local comic shop about Frank Miller's Daredevil run, and the owner's eyes lit up because he loves it so much. He's probably just happy somebody, came in there that wasn't like a freak, that like actually wanted something good instead of something weird. So, Jay Frazier for 20. Hail G&G. With news of our DJ's Payday, how much more will it cost Marvel to bring 2 Chris's back for Secret Wars? Also, if Robert Downey Jr. is expected to appear in FF's post-credit scene, would it be the most expensive cameo ever? I don't know if he's specifically going to get paid for that. Remember, when this news came out, I told you guys that I had heard that his first appearance wouldn't be in that. It was actually going to be probably the actual reveal of RDJ. It was going to be in Fantastic Four. Not that he's going to be a big part of the movie, but that I'd heard that there's going to be little hints about the character kind of throughout. And then towards the end, I don't know if it's post-credit scenes or whatever, it would be revealed that Robert Downey Jr. was playing Doom. But I don't know. No idea how exactly they're going to handle that. Gary, if you were directing F4, who'd you bring in? Doom, Silver Surfer, Galactus in the first movie? Space them out, use a different villain first, etc. Hail. Sorry I didn't get to this before Gary had to leave. Whoa, bro. Gary, super important. You have to watch the Japanese version of Rohirrim show. It's much more masculine. They're either lying to us or the Japanese. There's a chance it's not a girl boss show. I will let him know to still have a hope in War of the Rohirrim. That nerdrotic is gay. Thank you. I agree with Jeremy. Thoughts on Narrow Body with Nigel for 199. Thanks, guys. I'm choked up. 60 years old and choked. Chris Reeve and Robin Williams. R.I.P. R.I.P. Goblin Cox. Jeremy enjoys homosexual activities. That's the rumor. Wolfsbane. Well, Ryan's allowed to be jaded. He was a DI officer in the military, after all. Being part of both those programs would jade anybody. Yeah. I was lucky. I had a good command. Do you see the Elon Musk Neuralink allowing the person to play chess in Call of Duty? I haven't seen that specifically, but I know we talked about a second person had it installed, but I don't really know. Edward Morris for 2. Live Another Day was the perfect ending to 24, in my opinion. Bro, 24 is it. I'm going to fucking rewatch. What streamer has that? It was made by Fox. It's not on Disney Plus, is it? Where can I stream 24? Hulu. Yeah. Makes sense. Fucking Hulu. Enoch Maman. Oh, I'd missed this one. Sorry. The Tagothrax with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Tagothrax. Enoch Maman reviews and rants for 5. Every Halloween, I have 2 traditions. 1, replay Ghostbusters. 2, asking Ryan and Jeremy if they've played it yet. No, I haven't played that game yet. It's not Halloween yet, motherfucker. Crimson Raptor. Jay's channel got demonetized. This has to be a mistake. Tell YouTube politely to monetize Drunk 3PO. Yes, so that did happen. We talked about that a little bit today. I saw YouTube did respond to his initial tweet, so it got enough attention that YouTube replied and asked him to fill out an official review thing. So we'll see where it goes from there. Obviously, I've seen this happen a lot of times with a lot of different channels, and typically it's just a mistake gets fixed in 1 or 2 days. I firmly believe that's what's going to happen to Jay. But obviously, if that doesn't go the way, we might need to continue to voice our very polite concern towards YouTube about it. Thank you, Crimson. Taker for 2. More like health minister the size of Belgium. Sir Hat for 2. Screw you guys for making me cry at work. Hey, hold the tears back like a man. Theseus Minor for 35. Find a way to prove you ain't gay is to move to Orania, the white ethno state in South Africa. They need viral stallions to perpetuate the community. You know, I am willing to go there. Like, if they pay me, kind of like you would pay a horse, like a stud racehorse to get somebody fucking pregnant. I'll go down there. I'll fucking plow through a bunch of them, but I want to come back to America when it's all said and done. But if they need my help, I got a high sperm count. I'm good. Mark of Reality for 2. The only person excited for Agatha to come out is Disparu. Probably true. John Getz, Ryan should do a G&G gaming stream or something spooky for the upcoming season. I'd ask Jeremy, but he's apparently content to play Mario Kart and Fortnite till he's 90 on his deathbed. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He is. All right. Think we're all caught up. We went a little over today, but still, we got a lot of topics in. You guys were super supportive and through a crazy amount of super chats. But we still kept the show on track and just about 7 minutes too long. That's not too bad. Beardo's inner thoughts for 2. DC Comics released new logos for bats, and it's bad. That's not good. That's not good. But with all that being said, thank you guys. I did read your super chat. I agree with Jeremy. I even said I agree with Jeremy. I did read it. But hey, thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, maybe same topics. You never quite know with this show. But thank you for showing up. And thank you to Gary for appearing on G&G Daily. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Wait, Chris Grogu. Ryan, hair looking a little flat today. The Bouffant King. Yeah, I know it is, isn't it? Maybe I should have put some more product in it or something. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. And over on Kick, Cool Sax, subscribe to Geeks Gamers. Thank you, Cool Sax, over on the Kick stream. All right, now officially, unless one last super chat comes in the last second, in the next 5 minutes, next 5 seconds, I'm going off. All right.